You ever notice how something as simple as walking across the room, getting out of a chair, or lifting a bag of groceries starts to feel heavier? Like your body is no longer cooperating the way it used to? If you're over 50 and have caught yourself thinking, "Why am I feeling weaker even though I haven't changed anything?" You're not imagining it. You're witnessing one of the most underestimated biological processes of aging, sarcopenia. And unless you act now, it's going to take more than your strength. It's going to chip away at your independence. My name is Dr. Henry Caldwell. After 35 years of medical research in the fields of metabolic health and aging, I've come to one unshakable conclusion. Muscle is not just for bodybuilders, it's for life. And if we want to live independently, age with grace, and avoid frailty, then we must protect our muscle mass like we protect our hearts. Let me be clear. Sarcopenia is not just about losing a little tone in your arms or legs. It's about a silent, progressive breakdown of muscle tissue that accelerates after age 50 and even faster after 60. You can feel it in the way your knees complain after climbing stairs. You hear it in the soft grunt you make getting out of bed. And worst of all, it often goes unnoticed until a fall, a fracture, or a hospitalization forces you to pay attention. But what if I told you there's one food, yes, just one simple, accessible, often overlooked food that could help change that trajectory? A food that can help rebuild muscle, protect your bones, improve your energy, and even help you stand tall again, confidently. It doesn't come in a fancy bottle. You don't need a prescription. You don't even have to spend a fortune. It's something you can grab at any grocery store. Before we dive into that food, I want you to picture something. Imagine watching your grandchild take their first steps and having the strength to walk beside them. Picture yourself on vacation, hiking a gentle trail, breathing deep, knowing your legs will carry you without pain or worry. That's not fantasy. That's physiology. And the right food is the key to unlocking it. See, our muscles are more than meat on bones. They are metabolic machines. They regulate our blood sugar. They protect us from falls. They drive our mobility, burn our calories, stabilize our spine, and keep our joints in proper alignment. When we neglect to feed our muscles the nutrients they need, we don't just get weaker, we lose our ability to live independently. And that's not aging, that's malnourishment. Plain and simple. Now here's the shocking part. According to data from the CDC and the NIH, over 1 million adults over 50 in the US experience clinical levels of muscle loss every year. And one of the biggest culprits? Diets that are too low in high-quality protein, iron, and antioxidants, nutrients that muscle fibers depend on to regenerate. When those nutrients are missing, your muscle tissue literally begins to dissolve. Not overnight, not with a bang, but with a slow, quiet whimper. So what is this one food that could help reverse the damage? It's not exotic. It's not imported. It's grass-fed beef jerky. That's right. A food that many seniors overlook as a snack for younger folks is actually a nutritional powerhouse for aging adults when chosen wisely. Now, before you raise your eyebrows or think, "Jerky? Really?" Allow me to walk you through the science that has made this food a staple recommendation in my clinic for over a decade. First off, grass-fed beef jerky is not the same as your standard convenience store kind, packed with sugar and preservatives. No. Properly made jerky, especially from grass-fed sources, offers one of the densest, most absorbable forms of complete protein available outside of a medical-grade supplement. Just 100 grams contains up to 30 grams of protein, plus high levels of iron, zinc, and omega-3 fatty acids, all of which are critical for muscle maintenance, oxygen transport, and energy production. Let's break this down. Protein isn't just fuel, it's structure. When you eat protein, your body breaks it down into amino acids, tiny building blocks that repair and rebuild muscle fibers. Seniors need more protein, not less, because as we age, our bodies become less efficient at utilizing amino acids. That's why two people can eat the same meal, but the 30-year-old builds muscle while the 65-year-old does not, unless their protein source is highly bioavailable. And that's exactly where jerky shines. Its low moisture, high density profile makes it ideal for muscle regeneration, but it gets better. Grass-fed beef also contains something called conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, a naturally occurring fatty acid that not only supports lean muscle retention, but also helps modulate inflammation and even fat metabolism. Remember this, muscle loss isn't just a result of aging, it's a result of chronic inflammation, nutrient deficiency, and inactivity. And the right kind of jerky, when combined with movement, can flip that switch. But don't just take my word for it. Research from the Cleveland Clinic and Mayo Clinic shows that pairing lean red meat like grass-fed jerky with resistance training, even light resistance like bodyweight squats or banded exercises, can dramatically increase muscle protein synthesis in people over 60. You don't need a gym, you need intention and a supportive diet. So how should you eat it? That's where things get fun. One of my favorite recommendations is this: mid-morning snack plate, a few strips of jerky, a handful of walnuts, and half an avocado. That gives you protein, iron, healthy fats, and fiber, perfectly balanced to support satiety, muscle recovery, and energy. Or you can dice up the jerky into a Mediterranean-style salad, spinach, cucumbers, cherry tomatoes, lemon juice, and olive oil, for a fresh, anti-inflammatory meal that won't weigh you down. For breakfast, fold chopped jerky into a spinach omelet with a sprinkle of feta cheese and black pepper. Delicious, functional, and supports post-sleep muscle repair. And here's a tip I often share in lectures. Pair your iron-rich foods with vitamin C, like orange slices or bell peppers, to boost absorption. It's a small move that makes a massive difference. Now, before you think I'm just some old doc obsessed with beef, let me assure you, I've spent decades studying dietary interventions for aging adults, and time after time, the common thread is consistency with functional foods, not fads. You don't need extreme diets. You need intentional nutrition. Jerky just happens to be one of the best, most convenient tools we have. And listen closely, because this is the moment I ask you to take one small step. Hit that subscribe button and join our community here at Calm Voice Wellness. We're building a place where aging isn't feared. It's embraced, optimized, and respected. If you've ever felt left behind by the modern health world, this channel is your safe space. We break it all down, week by week, in a calm, grounded way so you can feel empowered, not overwhelmed. What's next on your plate? I'll be back soon to share more foods that are surprisingly powerful for strength, balance, and long-term vitality. But for now, start with one small handful of jerky and a reason to get moving. Because strength isn't something you lose, it's something you rebuild. Let's keep this momentum going, because while grass-fed jerky may be a heavy hitter in your strength-building arsenal, there's another classic, deeply American staple that often gets dismissed as just another indulgence. But when prepared and consumed mindfully, it can be your next best friend on the journey to stronger legs and better mobility. Smoked turkey sausage. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Sausage, really? But let's take a moment to peel back the label. Smoked turkey sausage, especially when made with minimal additives and crafted from lean cuts, is far more than a flavor bomb. It's a concentrated source of complete protein, vitamin B12, selenium, and iron. Nutrients essential for energy metabolism, oxygen delivery, and muscle repair. According to USDA data, just 100 grams of high-quality smoked turkey sausage delivers around 25 grams of protein, plus a healthy dose of vitamin B12, which helps prevent fatigue and supports the nervous system. In older adults, B12 deficiency is not uncommon. It creeps up silently, causing symptoms like memory fog, low mood, numbness in the legs, and that dragging fatigue that no amount of coffee seems to cure. But B12, combined with heme iron from animal sources, supports the creation of healthy red blood cells. And red blood cells? They're the literal oxygen transporters to your muscles. You want to walk stronger? You need oxygen to get there. I once had a patient, Alan, 67 years old. He came in complaining about shortness of breath and wobbly legs. After ruling out cardiac issues, we discovered his B12 was in the basement. His diet? Mostly toast, coffee, and the occasional bowl of cereal. No red meat, no eggs, no B12. We rebuilt his diet, slowly, and added a few servings of smoked turkey sausage a week, paired with lentils, leafy greens, and hydration. 3 months later, he was walking 2 miles a day and dancing with his wife again on weekends. It wasn't magic. It was mitochondria, fueled by food. If you're wondering how to incorporate smoked turkey sausage into your meals without going overboard on saturated fats, here's a tip. Moderation plus fiber equal in balance. Try slicing 40 grams into a hearty white bean and kale stew. The legumes bring soluble fiber and antioxidants. The greens provide magnesium and vitamin C. And the sausage? That savory punch of protein that turns your dinner into a functional healing ritual. Another favorite of mine, oven-roasted sausage medallions with bell peppers, zucchini, and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Roast at 375 Fahrenheit for 25 minutes and sprinkle with fresh thyme. The result? A warm, nutrient-dense meal that feels like comfort food, but fuels you like performance nutrition. Or if you're short on time, thinly slice turkey sausage and toss it into a warm chickpea salad with lemon, parsley, and red onions. Add a scoop of quinoa, and you've got a powerful combo of complex carbs, protein, and minerals, all on one plate. Which brings me to another underrated powerhouse, lentils. Tiny legumes, massive impact. Let me say this clearly. If you're over 50 and not eating lentils at least twice a week, you're missing out on one of nature's most complete and cost-effective muscle protectors. A single serving of cooked lentils, about 100 grams, contains 9 grams of protein, along with iron, magnesium, folate, and zinc. But the real gift lentils offer is their synergy. They provide lysine, an essential amino acid that helps repair muscle tissue, soluble fiber that stabilizes blood sugar, and resistant starch that feeds your gut microbiome. Yes, that's right. Gut health plays a massive role in muscle maintenance. Why? Because inflammation in the gut can lead to chronic systemic inflammation, which disrupts insulin signaling and impairs nutrient absorption. In other words, if your gut isn't healthy, your muscles won't be either. I often tell my clients, you can't build a strong house on a rotten foundation. So how do we use lentils in real life? One of the simplest and most satisfying ways is a lentil stew with turmeric, carrots, garlic, and onions. Not only does it warm the soul, but every spoonful floods your body with anti-inflammatory compounds and plant protein. Or whip up a Mediterranean lentil bowl. Cooked green lentils, baby spinach, cucumber, cherry tomatoes, and lemon juice. Add some olive oil and crumbled goat cheese, and you've got a dish that feeds both your palate and your muscles. Looking for something different? Try this post-workout smoothie. 1/2 cup cooked lentils, 1 ripe banana, a handful of spinach, unsweetened almond milk, and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Blend until creamy. It's earthy, slightly sweet, and packed with protein, fiber, and potassium. Perfect for refueling your body after a morning walk or resistance band workout. And here's a professional tip. Soak your lentils for at least 8 hours before cooking. This reduces anti-nutrients like phytic acid and boosts mineral bioavailability. A small step. A massive improvement in digestion and absorption. Now, you might be wondering, what if I don't like legumes? What else can help? Allow me to introduce you to the ocean's best-kept secret, sardines. I can already hear the skeptics. Sardines? Aren't those just salty little fish in a can? Hear me out. If I could prescribe one food for aging adults to help preserve muscle, protect their heart, and strengthen their bones, sardines would be near the top of that list. These small, oily fish are nutritional dynamite, offering high-quality protein, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, calcium, and coenzyme Q10, all in one neat, shelf-stable package. Let me explain what makes sardines extraordinary. First, they're one of the only foods that naturally contain vitamin D and calcium in a bioavailable form. That's because when you eat them with their soft bones, you're getting a dose of highly absorbable calcium that directly supports bone mineral density, something that matters deeply for anyone looking to avoid fractures or osteoporosis. But it gets better. Sardines are rich in EPA and DHA, two forms of omega-3 fatty acids that help reduce inflammation, improve joint mobility, and support muscle protein synthesis. A clinical review from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who consumed omega-3 rich fish at least twice a week had better muscle preservation, lower rates of sarcopenia, and faster post-exercise recovery. So how do you eat sardines without turning your nose up? Here are 3 simple, elegant ideas. Lemon herb sardine salad. Mash canned sardines with a splash of lemon juice, chopped parsley, and capers. Serve over baby greens or on whole grain toast. Power bowl. Pair sardines with steamed broccoli, cherry tomatoes, quinoa, and a drizzle of tahini dressing. Add boiled eggs if you're feeling fancy. Sardine spread. Blend with plain Greek yogurt, mustard, garlic, and black pepper for a creamy, tangy spread that's rich in protein and gut-friendly probiotics. At this point, you're probably noticing a pattern. We're not talking about trends. We're talking about timeless, functional nutrition that's been validated by science and used across generations. And if you're still here, still watching, still soaking in this knowledge, do something powerful today. Click that subscribe button on Calm Voice Wellness and join thousands of others who've decided not to let aging steal their strength. Leave us a comment telling us your favorite go-to meal after 50, or one you're inspired to try this week. Let's build a community that eats, moves, and ages intentionally. Because strength isn't about lifting heavy things, it's about lifting your life. Now, let's take a brief but meaningful journey from the sea to the rolling hills of Spain, where tradition, craftsmanship, and nutrition come together in one remarkable food that often goes underappreciated: Manchego cheese. This isn't just another dairy product to sprinkle on your salad. It's a centuries-old symbol of cultural pride that also happens to be one of the most effective and delicious muscle-supporting foods you can add to your diet. Made from the milk of grass-fed sheep in the La Mancha region, Manchego is a firm, nutty, creamy cheese that boasts a unique nutrient profile, particularly suited for older adults seeking to preserve muscle mass and protect bone density. Here's the clinical truth. Every 100 grams of Manchego delivers about 25 grams of complete protein, which means it contains all 9 essential amino acids necessary for muscle repair, immune support, and hormonal balance. This is particularly valuable for seniors whose ability to synthesize protein declines with age. But it's not just about the protein. Manchego is loaded with calcium, roughly 700 milligrams per 100 grams, a level that rivals or exceeds most standard dairy products. Calcium, as we know, is vital for strong bones, but the real magic happens when it's paired with vitamin K2, a lesser-known nutrient found in sheep's milk that directs calcium into your bones where it belongs, and keeps it out of your arteries where it doesn't. In other words, this cheese doesn't just build, it protects. And there's more. Manchego contains a beneficial fatty acid called CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, which supports lean muscle retention, fat metabolism, and may even help reduce systemic inflammation when consumed regularly in moderate amounts. So no, cheese isn't the enemy. Smart cheese is your ally. I remember sitting with an 82-year-old patient named Gloria, who had been struggling with declining balance and recurrent hip pain. She had been avoiding all cheeses because of outdated advice on cholesterol. We reintroduced small portions of aged cheeses like Manchego into her meals, balanced them with greens and fiber, and 3 months later, her bone density score improved. Not a miracle, just smart nutrition. Cheese, when chosen wisely, can be medicine. So how do you enjoy Manchego without overdoing it? Try pairing thin slices, 30 to 40 grams, with a few raw almonds and a drizzle of local honey for a snack that satisfies cravings while delivering calcium, healthy fats, and protein in a balanced ratio. Or for something heartier, grate Manchego over roasted Brussels sprouts, butternut squash, or even a warm quinoa pilaf. It adds umami depth and creamy texture without the need for heavy sauces or extra salt. One of my personal favorites? Whole grain toast topped with avocado, a sprinkle of black pepper, and a melted slice of manchego. It's the perfect breakfast, nutrient-dense, protein-packed, and deliciously energizing. Combine it with a morning walk or stretching session, and your muscles will thank you for the rest of the day. Now that we've explored the strength found in land, sea, and pasture, let's circle back to one of the oldest power foods in history, a tiny legume that's been fueling human civilization for over 7,000 years. Say hello again to chickpeas, also known as garbanzo beans. If lentils are the workhorse of Mediterranean cooking, chickpeas are the heart. Humble, hearty, and endlessly versatile, chickpeas offer a brilliant blend of plant-based protein, soluble fiber, and essential minerals like magnesium, potassium, and folate, all of which support muscle function, nerve signaling, and smooth energy regulation. In just 100 grams of cooked chickpeas, you get about 9 grams of protein. But perhaps more importantly, you get the support system your muscles need to actually use that protein. The magnesium helps with muscle relaxation and recovery. The potassium keeps your heart rhythm steady and helps prevent cramps. The fiber keeps your digestive tract happy and enhances nutrient absorption. It's a whole-body food. Now let me tell you something that might surprise you. Most people over 60 walk around mildly dehydrated and mineral deficient, which leads to things like leg cramps at night, muscle weakness during the day, and sluggish metabolism overall. Chickpeas, when soaked and cooked properly, can help correct that balance. Soak your dry chickpeas for 10 to 12 hours with a bit of baking soda. This softens their outer skin, reduces anti-nutrients, and enhances mineral bioavailability. Once cooked, they can be transformed into an endless number of muscle-friendly meals. Let's go over some of my go-to chickpea recipes. Homemade hummus. Blend cooked chickpeas with tahini, lemon juice, garlic, and olive oil. This creamy spread makes a perfect post-workout snack when paired with whole grain pita and sliced bell peppers. Mediterranean warm salad. Toss chickpeas with steamed spinach, feta cheese, cherry tomatoes, olive oil, and a dash of balsamic vinegar. It's bright, savory, and deeply satisfying. Roasted chickpeas. Coat them in olive oil, smoked paprika, and cumin. Roast until crispy. This turns into a high-protein, high-fiber snack that helps curb afternoon cravings while supporting muscle repair. Here's a tip from my practice. Rotate chickpeas and lentils throughout your week. They have slightly different amino acid profiles and fiber types, which helps support a diverse gut microbiome, and that's key to keeping inflammation low and nutrient absorption high. What we've just built together is a 6-layered nutritional strategy to fight sarcopenia and reclaim the strength that aging tries to take away. And it all comes from real food. No powders, no pills, just time-tested ingredients that have nourished generations before us and will continue to fuel generations after us. Let's take a breath here. If you've made it this far, it's because something deep inside you already knows this matters. You're not just watching, you're choosing to engage, to learn, and maybe, just maybe, to take a new step forward in how you care for yourself. That's why I created Calm Voice Wellness. This is not just another health channel. This is a community, a sanctuary, for people who want grounded, science-backed, gentle guidance on how to age with strength, clarity, and purpose. So if this video spoke to you, if it lit a spark or made you rethink just one habit, subscribe. Join us, because the next chapter of your life deserves to be strong, stable, and joy-filled. And as always, remember this: your strength is not gone. It's waiting for you. Let's go find it, one meal at a time.